team defending their spot in the SCL up against probably the favorite to come out of Relegations here, Toli. My guys, tons of veterans that have seen the SCL before.
Absolutely. A mixture of a few members here and there. You got Wolves in the solo lane, layers of death, layers of life, chaotic purpose. Doesn't matter what you call him, he's always going to bring in the hot fire out of that jungle role. Already seeing some interesting bans coming out of Noble, taking away the Thanatos for my guys.
Yeah, Thanatos could be run by Wolves in the solo lane. We've seen that a little bit, but of course, chaotic purpose in the jungle is the one that's probably taken away from Freya and Sylvanas, the bans by my guys. Zeus going to be the selection here for Noble. Their mid laner is Nazarian, coming over from the PC side of things. High-level ranked player over there, but we've seen it before. These high-level ranked players from PC, they come over, their game knowledge is good, but their mechanics with the controller take a little bit of time to really get going.
Zeus is one of those guys that's going to need a little bit of support, a little bit of peeling in the backline. If you do have those two aspects available for you, though, he can definitely shine, truly doing a lot of damage. Probably one of the top 3 gods in the game in terms of burst potential. So my guys, I like the idea that they have El Brochacho on that support role. Ymir is definitely one of his go-to gods.
Absolutely, and Izanami, a strong pick for Transonics. He loves to play all the different hunters, and lane pressure, the name of the game early on in Season 4 from what we've seen on the PC side of things. The console guys taking a page out of their book, going with the lane pressure in the duo lane. Awilish and Hercules going to be the selections for Noble. Hercules has been pretty popular overall since the change to mitigate wounds. And then that Awilish, excellent up against the Izanami, can pull her out of fade away and really make use of that gravity surge.
People really forget about just how much damage Hercules do with his combo, not to mention the boulder that can find the bounce off the wall. Awilish and Zeus is going to be a very aggressive start coming out of Noble Esports. So my guys are trying to find a way to wiggle their way in and out of action by picking up the Susanoo potentially for chaotic purpose.
Yeah, I like this selection. Susanoo's been very, very potent early on in Season 4. The being able to start out with Bluestone Pendant helps your clear out so much, as well as that excellent poke potential that Susanoo can bring in the jungle. Apollo, Geb, those are the bans for my guys. On the left-hand side of your screen, Noble, they've banned away Poseidon and Ra from Covey. 3 mid-gods banned away from Covey. We saw him have excellent success on Thoth during the open bracket, and now Poseidon and Ra banned away as well. Isis going to be the selection for him. My guys, they just want pressure all across the map, it looks like.
A lot of control on the side of my guys' team composition. They have the stun, the silence out of Isis. Brochacho's going to bringing in that freeze. Obviously, chaotic purpose is going to always be looking for some sort of place. He's going to jet stream him, find the pulls as well. And I like what my guys did as well. Banning away the Freya and the Apollo away from X. He's always been known to be playing these 2 late game hunters. So now he's forced into a position where he's playing more of an early to mid game god on the Anhur.
Yeah, both of these compositions seem pretty heavily early game to me, Toli. I mean, Anhur, an early game hunter. You've got Awilish and Zeus as well, known for their early game prowess. Ares going to be the last selection, so that's going to be a Ymir solo lane.
I love it.
Ares for Brochacho in the support. Why do you like it so much?
The double Guardian composition from my guys is just so tanky. And it's not only just tankiness, it's a lot of damage between these 2 Guardians. You think of the damage-dealing Guardians, you're thinking of Ymir and Ares in particular. Brochacho, as long as he hits those 2 or 3 chains on anybody from Noble, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Not to mention the cripple. It's going to prevent the pluck from Sobek. Hercules, no driving strike. Awilish, not going to be able to jump away or use the feather step.
Really excellent draft here from my guys. Let's go into game and see how it pans out. They're on the right side, the red side. They're Wolves piloting that Ymir in the solo lane. And this is a god that he's actually been known to play a fair amount in that solo. It brings great clear, great team fight presence, and great control, like you mentioned. Plus, you mentioned the chains there for Brochacho. Excellent against the Awilish, Aromatica, the jungler for Noble. You might not recognize that name. He used to be known as Despair. Been around the console scene quite a bit. Hunter for Soar last season for a time until he was replaced on that roster. So a lot of veterans on both sides here.
It's usually interesting to see how a hunter makes adaptations to go into different roles, especially in the jungle, because normally you're left alone for a large portion of the game, but now you're the one that's going to be bringing the action from the very get-go. You're going to have to be developing strategies for your team to basically rely on you setting that pace of the game. So we'll be taking a look at Aromatica, how he's adjusted to his new role.
And Supro in the support role for Noble, he used to be a mid laner as well, so a couple different role swaps overall, new players and new positions, but same strong mechanics. Covey in the middle lane here, he's going to team up with his support. Same goes for Noble, supports and mids together in the middle lane, but that push definitely favoring my guys.
Isis doing a great job at level 1 with the Wingus. People forget about how much damage Isis can truly do. It's one of the more mechanically difficult gods to play and execute, but as long as you're able to really group up with some protections or full out out aggression, one or the other, then you can really start snowballing this kind of a god. You're trying to look for somebody out of position.
And here, you can see my guys, they come into lane level 2, whereas Noble, they just hit level 2 after clearing the majority of that middle wave. Kofi, he's gone for Bumba's Mask in the middle lane here, Tully, and no Sands of Time either. The Soul Stone, what do you think about this start for Isis?
It's a very aggressive start, and it means that Kofi's definitely going to be looking for a lot of rotations in the jungle, expecting to see him left alone. Chaotic Purpose is probably going to be clearing around the soul lane for the majority of the time, which leaves your dual lane jungle mostly open, and that's a good idea to get that Bumba's Mask, get the last hits, keep sustaining in the laning phase, getting the health and the mana return every single last hit.
And remember, this is being played on patch 4.1 for the relegation process here on console, so you see this start coming out from Transonics directly into the Shuriken tree. That's because Poison Star hasn't received that nerf yet, along with Wind Demon, so the double crit start could be very potent here for Transonics.
Especially with Izanami having such an easy time clearing the wave. Let's say mid Harpies, though, a lot of contention. Looks like Kofi was able to secure that with the Wingas. 3 members not able to secure it against only 2 for my guys.
And you can see Chaotic Purpose, he's level 4, whereas Aromatica, he's only level 3. Both players have their speed buffs. No real invades, it looks like. The only buff left up on the map still is that red buff for my guys, and I believe they're going to be heading over to clear it right around now.
Transonics is going to be able to pick this up more than likely. He's going to hit level 5 also before Xlux, so he could look for a little bit of a play. Looking at the relic selection, he does have the purification beads on the Xlux, so not going to have the Aegis to deal with the burst damage coming out of Transonics. Normally, a lot of Onhers will like to go for the Aegis because you already have that CC immunity on the ultimate anyway.
And now you can see in the duo and the solo lane as well, Wolves playing this Guardian into the Hercules. What's this matchup like, Tully? This is one that we haven't seen in a very long time. Ymir up against Hercules.
It's a nice matchup for the Ymir the longer the game goes because you're forcing the warrior into the magical defense. Both of these gods are immobile for a certain amount of time. Obviously, when Hercules uses his pull on the wave, that's an opportunity for Ymir to find poke, and vice versa, but in the left hand, a lot of poke onto Xlux.
He's got 3 chains there, forces out that purification. Brochacho, he's not level 5, so he can't pull Lu back in, but tons of pressure gained on that left-hand side, and no real response from Noble Esports because there's nothing to take on the map right now. The only thing that's available for them to try and make pressure on are those fire elementals on the right-hand side, but because of the superior clear in the solo lane because of Wolves, it looks like my guy's going to get that as well.
Nice double pull, finding it onto Aromatica, going to get knocked up, going to force to just run away. Still not using the ultimate from Kofi, surprisingly enough. That could have potentially been a kill. It was a nice little aggression. Despite not finding the kill, poking them out could set up for an invade in the later stages.
I think the lack of the ultimate there from Kobe was because of the purification still being up for Aromatica. He was figuring that he was going to use purification beads and jump away, but he just never did. Either way, you get a lot of poke damage onto him, like you said, set up for some pressure later on. Oracles, again, going the way of my guys. Every single contestable map objective that's happened thus far, Oracles and Fire Elementals, they've gone to my guys, and that's where you see this experience lead starting to go into their favor because of it.
Slow and steady, 4 minutes into the game, my guys building themselves almost a 2,000 experience lead. No towers, no gold furies taken off the map quite yet. Still a 600 goal lead. Brochacho still leading the charge, finds 1 chain, hits the second. Nice double pull. Zeus ultimate being forced defensively.
There's the purification as well. Brochacho still at level 4, but Yo-Yo comes around the side and finds 2 with the driving strike. Double kill goes the way of Noble Esports. Great rotation out of the soul laner there, Tully.
So unfortunate that Brochacho is still only level 4 during this whole time. He needed to be level 5 for this team fight. Find the no escape, force the purifications, and get at least a little bit of damage as well. That was such low members coming on the side of Noble Esports during that encounter. And like you mentioned before, Yo-Yo doing a great rotation, sacrificing a little bit of his way for it.
Wolves, he's going to use the Shards of Ice there. Great wall, going to block off the escape for now of Yo-Yo, but he's going to have Driving Strike up soon, and with that Ice Carpet a little bit mistimed, then he's going to be able to walk out of there no problem whatsoever. And we've seen this quite a bit from Brochacho during the open brackets. He's very, very focused on getting his team ahead, but sometimes it leads to him being a little bit behind in levels, and there, like you mentioned, the level 4, the real big difference maker in that team fight, as well as Nazarian with a great Lightning Storm at his feet. That's one of the benefits of playing Zeus is, yes, you get jumped on often because of how mobile you are, and he's gonna get jumped on here by Brochacho, pulled back in, no purification, no life, chaotic purpose, he's gonna pick him up. Aromatica over the wall, trying to run away. Looks like he will get away there. So even if Brochacho can't make the impact at level 4, certainly can at level 5.
Brochacho always has a little formula in his head. Unfortunately, for the last time around, he kind of forgot about the rotation from Yo-Yo ABC, but this time around, it was a nice calculated aggression. Without the beads onto Nazarian, he was able to really find that kill once he did hit level 5, so I'm expecting even more aggression off of this sort of start from Brochacho. Now that he got this play in, he's not going to stop it.
And now Covey, he's 2 levels up, and now just 1 level as Nazarian hits level 6 after returning to the middle wave. A little bit of a level lead on this Isis. That's exactly what you draft her for, is that pressure in the early game.
And we see the difference of the builds between these two mid laners. Nazarian is so fearful of all this damage coming from my guys. Very aggressive is their composition, so that's why he's going into the reinforced Greaves even before he finishes off the Dynasty plate helmet.
And I like this selection here for him because that passive from the reinforced Greaves is going to get a lot of mileage up against the multiple ticks of Ares Chains and Flames. You've got the Bluestone Pendant ticks out of Chaotic Purpose on the Susano as well. A lot of things that can be mitigated by that reinforced Greaves passive here.
Sometimes a lot of players will elect to still go Glass Cannon but have to worry about their positioning, so this is going to allow a lot of leeway for Nazarian to still be aggressive in the front line with Aromatica, trying to find the plays, because within a Willish in the jungle, you're really looking for the kills more so than the setup.
Oh, nice chain there from Brochacho, right into the stun from Covey. Purification beads used there by Aromatica, and necessary because that cripple was set up for Brochacho, and with that ultimate available, like you mentioned, Toli, he's got this formula. He knows those beads are down, and he's going to be looking for Aromatica very, very soon.
Starting the goal here. They do have the Isis ultimate available if they want to stick with it, but it was super right around the corner. Brochacho getting stunned out. Desert Fury going to find a nice, clean kill by Lou.
Lou, really, really great setup for himself there. Supra helps him out with the pluck, but he didn't even need it. Brochacho just a little bit too far forward in the jungle there. 3 kills on the side of Noble, only 1 for my guys, but the gold lead's still in my guys' favor.
Surprisingly, Brochacho elected to hold on to his Meditate while he was still in a little bit of trouble. He could have maybe bought some time, look for some of his teammates to really bail him out of that. On top of this, Covey could have used his ultimate during the stun.
Oh, big rotation here on the right-hand side. Wolves going down to that Shards of Ice, but he's sitting in that Lightning Storm. Nazarian getting very, very low as well. Meditation popped by Supra. He's going to dash out of that circle of protection, but the wall is beautiful from Wolves. Yo-Yo ABC, there's the heal, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. Wolves freezes him directly into the ground. This first kill for the solo laner.
Left-hand side, though, I love what Transonics is doing. He proxied the wave, and he's going to be able to barely, narrowly escape that stun. He's going to start rotating now off of that proxy wave, and this is a huge risky play, but it worked out because of all that action in the solo lane. Picking up these left side mid-harpies for Transonics, slowly separating that gap. He's already level 11 compared to Lou's 10.
And that's with the kill onto Lou, the solo kill basically onto Brochacho in that jungle. Transonics has definitely made use of that early push potential from Izanami, at least early on in the game. And that level lead that you just mentioned is basically matched across the board for my guys. You see Wolves, he's got a level in the solo lane. In the mid lane, Covey's got a level there as well. So that experience difference from getting these contestable objectives, again, the Oracles went the way of my guys. They've just been stripping away these jungle objectives better than Noble Esports has.
And a lot of that also has to come with El Brochacho sacrificing some experience for himself. He's a level behind his opposition on Supra, so he's always looking for ways to get his side laners ahead. The fact that he hasn't sat in this duel lane for so long is why we see Transonics with this level lead. He even finished off the Poison Star before Lou, which is why he was proxying to begin with. Having that small power spike makes it very less tempting for Lou to even look for the boxing exchange, but now this time around Brochacho will be looking for a gank on the left.
And there is, I don't think a ward spots him out until right around now. They've got a sentry right above that purple buff, and as such, Lou's just going to sit back and hang out. You can see Brochacho's actually gone for this Mark of the Vanguard right after completing his boots, whereas Supra, he's trying to rush down into that sovereignty. Which build path do you prefer in this situation, Toli?
In this point for Ares, you got to get as much of a defensive spike at this stage that you can. You have, because when you use the no escape, you're much lowered in your mobility. You're an easy target to be focused on, especially with Desert Fury coming out of Lou. So having this Mark of the Vanguard is going to basically mitigate 40 damage off the top from Lou, just off of the passive from Mark of the Vanguard, not to mention the 10 physical protections to boot.
Very, very nice pickup from Brochacho. Three-man grouping in the middle lane here. Oracles have responded with how critical those have been for my guys' success. I expect that's where we're going to see them head over to right now. Still a lead for Wolves in that solo lane. He's got his breastplate of Valor done, so he's got a little bit of that physical protection to help him out in lane against Yo-Yo and the gank from Aromatica, as well as that CDR to really allow Wolves to spam those abilities.
Also having the 10 MP5 to be, ooh, nice little steal from Wolves. He's going to get even more cooldown, more MP5 by picking up that blue buff on left-hand side. The pull, Aromatica, doesn't matter if you beads, the damage from Brochacho is good enough.
And Covey, he's going to be forced to back, but the rest of the squad is still going in. Transonics, he's looking at Lou. Purification there to try and beads the slow, but Lou gets out of that dark portal. Nice impale as well. Beads are used by Lou. There's a Desert Fury, but it's not enough. Transonics is able to pick him up. Brochacho's going to fall to the Lightning Storm. Detonate composition from Nazarian, but 2 for 1 in favor of my guys. On the right-hand side, Wolves almost makes it 3 for 1 with a solo kill onto Yo-Yo.
Even popping the meditation. He wants to dive that. He's almost being tempted to with the pull being down. There could be an opportunity for Wolves to start diving this. We see that the teleport is available for Yo-Yo, so not a big deal, but he's going to be missing out on a little bit more gold once he gets back into the lane. And with that little small victory around the left mid Harpies, and with Kobe's ultimate being up, that's an easy goal if you're at the 11-minute mark.
That's going the way of my guys. 3,500 gold in the lead for the red squad, as well as that 5,000 experience. We've talked about it a lot, but that's been the real difference maker thus far for my guys, looking to take the SCL spot away from Noble Esports, or it could be the spot of the former Elevate team Forgot to Trade. They don't really mind. They just want to get into that SCL any way they can.
Right now, it seems to be the case for my guys. Such a huge experience lead for them on across all fronts. Wolves with a 2-level lead. Just now hitting level 11 is Aromatica, tied up with Chaotic Purpose. Still a 2-level advantage for Transonic. So once these side laners start rotating to the team fight, forcing out the 4v4, 5-on-5s, my guys can really start putting pressure onto any tier 1 tower. The question is, how can they really find a pick? Because looking at the composition out of my guys, their only weakness is the immobility of these Guardians.
And well, gang on the right-hand side, Yo-Yo, he's in a bunch of trouble. The knock up, the shards of ice, he's got nowhere to go, and Wolves picks up his second kill early on in this game. And there's just the problem with going up against a magical lane opponent and having a physical jungler to worry about, because Chaotic Purpose just melted through that Hercules.
Only having Silver Breastplate right now, not having that much physical defense, had to go into the Pestilence to mitigate a lot of the poke damage from Wolves. Mid lane though, Brochacho looking for some chains. Instead, he's going to force the ultimate right off the bat, forcing the beats out of Zeus and the ultimate out of Sobek.
And that's all Brochacho was looking for there. Nice patience and veteran presence there by Brochacho. And Covey, knowing that no one was going to get pulled in there, but you get an ultimate and a purification for one ultimate. That's certainly a win for my guys.
He only did that by walking up too. There was no blink involved. We could have seen potentially Supra look for the tail flip to at least prevent Nazarian from getting hit by that ultimate. It would have saved the beats. And trading ultimate for Guardians is not the end of the world, but the fact that Brochacho got the ultimate of the Sobek and the beats out of the Zeus, that's a huge win.
And there's a lot of CC. Nice impale there from Lou, but Transonic's trying to turn it around on him. There's a dark portal, little bit of silence, but can't quite find the autos. Transonic's really relying on finding some crits there with his Wind Demon and Poison Star to try and find the kill onto X, but there's so much CC potential for my guys that Nazarian is in a bunch of trouble without those purification beads. You've got the freeze from Wolves, the pull from Chaotic Purpose, the knock up, the long range stun from Covey. I mean, you got a lot to worry about.
It's all about control coming from my guys with their team composition, and we've seen the Hunter that they can't really find any trades on the side of Lou, not having the Wind Demon completed compared to Transonics with this level and goal lead. Solo Tower does fall. My guy's going to be credited 500 gold collectively, extending their goal lead to 5,000.
Circle of Protection dropped in the middle lane just to give everyone a little bit of HP and, well, protection from that Lightning Storm, which was used Typhoon as well as it looks like Gravity Surge. So a bunch of ultimates, but not a lot of do-how about it. But Yo-Yo ABC caught out again on this right-hand side, pulled back into the Shards of Ice, fully charged, burning down. One more auto is going to do it. Chaotic Purpose makes his name known on that right-hand side yet again. Another kill onto the solo laner. 3 deaths already for Yo-Yo ABC.
We see a more even action. The nice freeze going to save Chaotic Purpose's life a little further. Brochacho forcing out the ultimate yet again out of Tsupra. This is what he really needs to do on cooldown, basically. You're not going to have that much damage now, or the slows coming out of Supra, which is going to help the rest of your team, from my guys, to be able to continue the aggression with their composition having this much engagement. It doesn't matter who engages, whether it's Wolves, Chaotic Purpose, even Kobe can to a certain extent with his long distance Spirit Ball.
Absolutely, and having that lurking in the waters be on cooldown is such a boon for Kobe in particular, because Sobek excellent up against Isis at chasing her down in that lurking in the waters and making life difficult, but because of the aggressive play from Brochacho, it's really enabled Kobe to play up in positioning and really helped out his team because of that. Portal Demon goes the way of my guys, a little bit of extra gold in their pockets, as well as mobility to try and get them back around the map as necessary. Gold Fury still down for another 50 seconds or so, but it's just been my guys seem to have been the aggressors so far, Toli. Both teams have these early game compositions, but it's been looking like my guy's been the only one who's really taken advantage of that fact.
They've been able to fully utilize their team composition with the rotations from Chaotic Purpose. Wolves has been left alone with Yo-Yo ABC to begin with. It's just allowed the Guardian to really take control. More poke onto Super, not too much to write home about. Aromatic is going to get forced out. Typhoon through the jungle, not finding anyone though.
Brochacho, he's here, but he doesn't have the no escape, but the wall from Wolves is perfect. That's going to secure the kill onto Supra. Yo-Yo's here, great pull and push. Kobe's going to fall. Aromatic is able to pick him up. Yo-Yo still trying to be in the front line, but he's only level 13. He's got to be a little bit careful here.
Trying to do more damage and set up his Zeus player, but now Yo-Yo, after using the driving strike, has nowhere to really go. He's getting crippled repeatedly. A nice pull and a push, but it's a level 12 Ares, and the ultimate is available for Brochacho.
Yo-Yo's coming back right into that Shards of Ice. He's seen this one before, and it's spelled his doom every single time. Aromatica finds Transonics on the left-hand side, but Yo-Yo does fall yet again in the middle lane.
And it's a level 12 Zeus that couldn't really capitalize off of the damage and the setup coming from Yo-Yo ABC because of the build. Just now finishing off the Obsidian Charlu, though, taking a lot of damage. We see a 1v2 Chaotic Purpose finding one, wants to find more, though.
Chaotic Purpose trying to chase down Aromatica, who goes into the buff camp, and the buff camp saves his life, eats the third ability from Susano that would have allowed Chaotic Purpose to teleport to him over the tower. Instead, Aromatica gets away with his life just barely, and that was a big kill on a Transonics, though, for Noble, because he was level 17, top of the game in net worth, and whenever you've got that much gold to your name, you're worth a little bit more to the enemy as a bounty.
Yeah, absolutely. Trading 1 for 1 favors Noble, but at least the rotation from Chaotic Purpose shut down Loot yet again, so he's not going to be able to take advantage of the death from Transonics. Truly, the gap, the level experience gap, is still going to be into effect as the respawn timers basically matched up.
And their oracles go the way of my guys yet again, and you called it out during picks and bans, Toli, that the bans for my guys in the second phase seem to really be targeting up against Lu, banning away Freya, banning away Apollo, two gods he's known to play very, very well. And that game plan seems to have worked out very, very nicely, because Transonics has had complete control over this left-hand side. It looks like because of that, the Gold Fury gonna go the way of my guys yet again. Lu, he's in trouble. Both relics used there, but a great lightning storm on top. Chaotic Purpose very, very low. Nazarian's going to be able to pick him up with that detonate. The rest of the team on the run. There's the pull-in from Aromatica. Wolves in the middle of everybody right now. He's going to fall as well. Big no escape. They're going to pull in 2 into the Dark Portal, but Brochacho, that's the third death. 3 for 0 for Noble.
My guys got the gold here, but at what cost? They already lost 3. Kobe forced into the egg, is trying to save under the tower. Getting pulled is Transonics. 4th dead member from my guys. This could be a deicide. Nice driving strike from Yo-Yo. It is going to be a deicide. So Gold Fury being taken, but it was not worth here, Aggro.
5 members, still pretty healthy here for Noble, and Fire Giant is the call. Wolves does have teleport, but it's not up for another 18 seconds. Should be 5 members with Fire Giant. And how did that fight go so wrong for my guys?
It was just taking a little bit too much damage from the Gold Fury. The fact that Chaotic Purpose and Wolves continue to go past Nazarian's ultimate, trying to do a little bit too much in that team fight. They should have just reset and basically take the win and the Gold Fury and retreat. The cooldowns of the relics from Chaotic Purpose was on cooldown at that point in time, so he couldn't get out. And with without this jungler to be able to do more damage, find the pulls and the setups, it was just a 4-on-5 that just went straight south after that.
And that's a big boon for Noble Esports. You can see the big uptick in the graphs that we just looked at, and this is still a good spot for my guys. They're still up 5,600 gold, 6,000 experience, but it's what Noble Esports is going to be able to do with this Fire Giant that's really going to dictate what happens in this game.
Having more sustain, having more objective damage is going to make things a little bit easier for them. On top of this, they're going to deny the opportunity for my guys to get the Fire Giant for at least an additional 4 minutes. So even if this push does go south for Noble on the left-hand side, they're going to be able to bounce back. But not wanting to fight into this, in my guys, they're instead going to look at the solo and mid lane.
And Chaotic Purpose, he's backing, it looks like. My guy's pretty split up here. Tier 1 tower falls very, very quickly to the 4 members of Noble with Fire Giant. Teleport coming in, Wolves is here, but he's all by himself, plucked in, dragged back down by Aromatica. There's the Lightning Storm. 3 ultimates used to pick up the solo laner.
Doing too much there. Chaotic Purpose getting a little bit of poke, forced to retreat. Brochacho finding 2 with the ultimate, forcing out the ultimate. Isis gonna follow up. Aromatica wiped off the board, 1 for 1 thus far. The chains are still in effect. A triple stun coming from Covey. Transonics chasing it down though. A lot of members from Noble are low.
There's the shield pop there by Brochacho. Boulder over the top. Yo-Yo, he's trying to run away. Sprint popped by my guys. They're trying to chase him down. Brochacho has the chain on the Lou. He's got 1. There's the purification used just in case he needs to jump away. And the meditation. Look at Chaotic Purpose lurking in the jungle, trying to get around the backside. No Typhoon available for him. Looks like the dive call is going to get called off there by my guys. A little bit too much. All 4 of these members still have Fire Giant.
Oh, he goes in with the Jetster. He finds a pull onto Lou, but he's going to back off right away. No one really there to follow up. Transonics on the side, getting a little bit of poke onto Yo-Yo. Doing a great job holding his my guys off the Fire Giant side of Noble Esports. Trading 1 for 1, defending their tier 2 tower. We see Wolves respawning as well. Still a little bit of action to his dueling, but more importantly, they've wasted so much time of the Fire Giant buff from Noble.
Yeah, only a minute and a half remaining on that Fire Giant from Noble, and it looks like they've made use of that Fire Giant sustain, all full health, full mana yet again, and they want to try their luck once more at this tier 2, but Nazarian, he's in the wrong spot, walled off, frozen. There's the Lightning Storm. There he goes. Wolves able to pick up his 4th kill. Now Lou, he's separated from the rest of the team, forced to jump away. Brochacho and Transonics, they're coming around, but the wall is beautiful from Wolves again.
Desert Fury being used, trying to defend a little bit, but there's no more relics to be able to get away. Boulder's gonna knock into the wall, hitting a couple members, but 2 members dead so far from Noble. They want another one. Supra is gonna sacrifice his life to make sure the rest of his team gets out, and that was all Noble overstaying their welcome. They didn't have the relics available to them to continue the siege under that tier 2 tower. Both relics were used in that earlier encounter by Nazarian.
We've talked about it time and time again with this draft for my guys. Control, control, control. And when you don't have your purification, you don't have your Aegis, it's so difficult to position well, and Nazarian just caught all by himself in that jungle. He falls very quickly, and that's the beginning of the end for that push for Noble. Tier 1 tower on the left side falls. Aromatica picks up a tier 1 tower of his own on the right-hand side, but I don't know if Noble Esports is going to be able to stop this push on the left from my guys. Tier 2 tower. Oh, Yo-Yo, he's going to get pulled in directly to the Dark Portal and the Circle of Protection. Chains as well, but he's so tanky. This Hercules was abused early on, but is finally tanky enough to deal with 3 ultimates there for my guys. Tier 2 tower still does fall, but that's a good sign for Noble.
That's the power of the Hercules. He's really tanky. A blink knock up
nice.
onto Brochacho, finding the ultimate on top of the Zeus just to make sure that member is dead. Yo-Yo going to be forced into the meditate. Transonics going to get plugged back in, forced into the Aegis, has nowhere to go, caught in between a rock and a hard place.
Very, very nice re-engagement there from Noble Esports. Understanding that this time it was my guys who stayed a little bit too long. They're able to pick up 2 kills because of it. Wolves, I don't think he sees anyone here. No gravity surge available for Aromatica, but there's the pluck. There's the driving strike as well. Here comes Chaotic Purpose. Typhoon around the backside, gonna knock up a couple members. Wolves still alive, not gonna be able to find the freeze. Aromatica finally able to take him down under that tier 1 tower. Chaotic Purpose cannot distract the enemy long enough to save his solo laner. 15-13, Noble in the lead in kills, and now the tier 2 tower there's focus.
Very sloppy and casual play coming from my guys. Wolves just put himself in an awkward position, almost on purpose, just backing in front of everybody from Noble. control. I'm not sure what he was expecting to happen, even allowing himself to get knocked out. We saw him constantly rotate 180 on purpose, trying to not get knocked out, but he still ended up doing so. But look at this.
They take the portal. There's 3 here, but they're still up against 5. Brochacho, he's all alone on the top side. Pops a sprint to get towards his team. Circle of protection used, and Kobe explodes Nazarian. Lou has to use his Aegis, trying not to get burned down by Brochacho. Shell is popped by Noble Esports as they try and run away. Chaotic Purpose finds Lou in the jungle, 2 for 0. And Aromatica just barely able to get back to base. Great use of that portal there by my guys. I don't think Noble Esports had any idea they were going to find 3 in that jungle.
Not at all. Both of these teams are always overstaying their welcome, it seems. And now Brochacho taking the Fire Giant for a little bit. Kobe is trying his best to zone Yo-Yo. The boulder is available for this Hercules. And without the Isis ultimate to really contest this, they have to get off Fire Giant, make sure that Yo-Yo is far enough away that he's not going to be able to throw it in.
Typhoon helps secure it. Fire Giant this time. My guys and Transonics, he's back and he is swinging. Dark Portal opened up underneath Aromatica, forces out those beads as he jumps away. That Fatalis has been completed for Transonics. You know that he was excited for this Fatalis buff coming into Season 4, finally making use of that early game lead he got for himself on the left-hand side. Transonics helps his team knock down this Tier 2 tower as well, getting close to that 10,000 gold lead for my guys.
Second Fire Giant of the game, first one for my guys, getting credited with that Tier 2 tower on the right, and they're already making more work of their Fire Giant than Noble Esports has. Looking like they want to slow things down currently, despite Yo-Yo ABC being dead for another 10 seconds. After those 2 Tier 2 towers, they're going to go for the Gold Fury. They already got 3,000 off those towers. They're going to get an additional like 1,800 off of that Gold Fury right there, extending their gold lead even further to almost 13,000 gold.
That was a big burst of gold for basically everyone on my guys, and we're at the 26-minute mark. A lot of these power spike items that we usually see, the late game luxury items that are so important for these players, are going to start being completed. Transonics, he's finished off his Deathbringer, he's full build, got the triple crit. Chaotic Purpose, who's had an excellent game on this Susano, top of the player damage charts, he's full build, as well as Wolves. You can see this utility build coming out of Kobe here. Not the traditional, damage burst mage, but he's got the Pythags piece helping out his team with some extra power and lifesteal all across the board. And then the Gem of Isolation as well, slowing everyone down. Kobe's been playing this control mage very, very well because he's second on his team in player damage despite not going for the bursty build.
It's definitely worth it to go Pythags piece here whenever you have 2 Guardians with that much damage between the Ymir onto Wolves, Ares onto Brochacho. You're amplifying the chains, the flames as well, making sure that when they're in the front line, they're still doing the damage. We've seen so many plays being made off of the back of setting up Wolves.
Transonics, he's in a bad spot. Use the Purification, but lose there. The beautiful Impale. Aegis gonna save his life as Chaotic Purpose comes around the side and picks up the enemy hunter. There's the Circle of Protection. Typhoon, no escape for 2. Nazarian's gonna fall. Supra just able to dash out of that Dark Portal, but Chaotic Purpose is going to be able to chase him down for his second kill. Only 2 left alive. The Great Ice Carpet deicide for my guys. They're going to take game 1 of this relegation day, trying to get back into the SCL for many of these players.
Great performance from my guys. It was a little back and forth action, but once they did secure that team fight on the left-hand side, made some nice adjustments